noisy. Look what I'm doing. Can you see what I'm doing here? Well, I'll tell you what I am doing. Not concentrating on my job. Just gone off road. Right. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stop in a minute and we'll have a chat about what I'm up to. And I thought I'd talk a little bit about that BBC programme that was on the other day. And we'll also have a look and see how much water is out in the field. I think there's a fair drop of water came down the last few days. Right, we'll be back in a minute. Let's turn this off a minute and get some quiet then. Right, well, as you can see I'm not hedge trimming, but I have got the trimmer out. I'm basically cutting the common. We'll have a look at that. I could jump out in a minute. So what I do every year at the end of the season of the hedge trimming, I always come over the common here and I top off all the brambles, because they are a real problem here. I'm actually paid under stewardship to manage this common. It's pretty impossible to do grazing. Look, I mean, you can just see the cars going right by the road there all the time. Electric fence isn't really an option because at the end of the day someone would nick it. I know they would. But look at the amount of traffic all the time. So I can't risk having the cattle get out there. So basically what I do is I take a cut of well, I can't say silage, it's more for bedding. In fact, there's a clip here of what we did last summer. Okay, so the grass is, or the stubble, or whatever you call it, is baled down here, but a bit of a shock, more bales than I thought. I think they're in 2s and 3s. There's 2 over there, 3 over there, 2 there. I got 1 on the trailer here, 2 there, another 1 there. I think we got about 11 out here actually. More bales than I thought. Like I said, it's bedding. You can see it's coarse. There's a nice bit of hay on there. That's left over from getting hay earlier in the month, but this is really coarse stuff bedding. So 11 or so bales of bedding. I think, well, we'll have to do, won't it? Let's see how we get on with it when we use it. Okay, so you can see there I took a cut there of from round bales. We use that for bedding. I mean, and then what's left, it just goes in the muck pile, rots down. So yeah, I'm doing it a bit earlier than normal, because normally I would do it at the end of hedge trimming, but because it's been so wet I don't really want to go on the fields too much. So I thought I'd just duck in here and do this. This is wet as well, but if I make a few ruts on the common, it's not the be all and end all. Anyway, that's beside the point. So Monday there was that Panorama programme about dairy farming. And a few people messaged me. Someone actually phoned me up beforehand and said, are you going to watch it? And a few people messaged me since and everything, and said, are you going to comment on it and everything? And it's sort of like one of those things where, you know, it gets a bit wearing, all this stuff, doesn't it? The constant attack on farming and the kind of having to defend it and blah blah blah. And I wasn't going to say anything, and then I thought, well, I'll sit back and see what happens and what other people have said. And I thought I'd just say a few words about it, but I mean, you can make your own mind up what you think about dairy farming, because if you're vegan, you've already made your mind up. If you're drinking milk, you've already made your mind up. So whatever I say, you're going to change your opinion. Some interesting points on there. First of all, the abuse of the animals from that farm in Wales, that's bang out of order, and quite rightly should be clamped down on. I think they've lost their farm assurance. They've also lost their milk buying contract. The fallout on that is massive though for that farm, and I'm not going to defend them, but the problem is now they suddenly lost their milk contract and their farm assurance. Suddenly they got nowhere for that milk to go. Those cows are sat there. Well, what do you do? What are you going to do? You've got to sell them really quick. You can't just turn that around quickly. Presumably you've got to milk and dump the milk, because no buyer would take unfarm assured milk. if they can't sell those cattle, they'll have to be slaughtered. So you kind of like create a massive issue there straight away. I don't know what the outcome of that is, but like I said, indefensible really anyway. Interesting points they highlighted is the farm. A lot of the farms are getting bigger and caused by the low milk price, and welfare can be better on small dairy farms. I mean, I 100% think small dairy farms are a better option, but then I'm biased, aren't I? I'm biased like anyone else who's got an agenda, and I'll come on to that in a minute. It is really unfortunate how things have gone in dairy farming, because the price has been hammered for so long. You know, we're talking a price that has hardly increased in 20 years. And then, I'll deal with that again. Never stops ringing my phone. So unfortunately, as I was saying, if you got a low price, what happens is people trying to get bigger, and then they're getting bigger, and it's like a treadmill. And then because if your farm gets too big, you can't take your cows to grazing because it's physically not possible. Then the cows have to stay in all year round, which I don't like. And the only solution to that is to pay more money to dairy farmers and help the small dairy farmers stay viable, because the problem is, small scale like us, it is hard to pay all those bills. I'm not going to get the violin out, but it is a fact. And I've seen a lot of smaller farms go around here. I've seen some bigger ones go as well. But there is a massive consolidation in dairy farming all the way through, and that I don't see that stopping now. You know, so whether the future of this farm is dairy is hard to say. It doesn't matter what my kids want to do. It's the simple economics of is it viable. And I have to say, YouTubing has saved my bacon financially, in the fact that I can get some money from doing these videos, and I can't take any more money out of the farm now. It's not on for me to do that. Going on to being unbiased or biased, the one thing I learned, which was a bit shocking actually, there was someone from a university on there. Let me just look it up on my phone, if I can. He was talking about the situation. Oh, look at that, worry. I can't find his name. Voicemail now. Oh God, it just never stops. He was talking about dairy farming. He was a bloke from a university. I can't even look it up now. Look, worry. He was a university professor. You'll have to look at it. I was on my Facebook page. Turns out this guy who was commenting about dairy farming, he was actually a vegan. Now, okay, nothing wrong with being a vegan and a university professor. I guess if you're probably at a university, you're more likely to be that way inclined, because it's kind of woke central, along with the BBC. But if you're going to comment about stuff, maybe you ought to declare that you're something like a vegan, because you're not going to be unbiased about your opinion. In the same way that if you knew I was commenting about dairy farm, I'm not going to be unbiased, am I? I'm going to fight the corner I believe in. And that only came to light recently or afterwards, which I think, you know, if the BBC want to put unbiased information out there, they really should. They shouldn't have a vegan commenting about stuff without maybe declaring it. Anyway, that's just by the by, but there does seem to be an anti-farming, anti-dairy message coming across a lot on broadcasting. I'm interested to know if anyone's going to do a program looking into veganism and some of these environmental claims, because I think a lot of them are spurious. Certainly Oatly milk, I found out their food miles on it was like 22,000 miles for food ingredients. Monoculture growing plants, is that better for the environment than a grass-based natural environment where cattle graze and share it with other plants? I don't think it is. Share it with other animals and plants, you know, because if you've got a grass-based system, you've got other animals that share that. You get a monoculture of wheat, or maybe growing soya, that's an alien plant that's not native, growing in a monoculture across the field that pushes out everything else. So maybe I think there's time there's an investigation, Panorama maybe, looking at the impact of veganism could have, because it's not all black and white, meat and dairy bad, vegan good. You've got to look at both, and at the moment I see it, they're looking at bad on dairy, they're never mentioning bad on vegan. Right, I hate talking about this stuff really, because I just hate it, the fact that people can argue against each other about food, you know. I only push back about it because there's so much rubbish pushed back at veganism pushed back, and I'd rather not say anything. I'd rather there wasn't all this vegan propaganda, and then the farmers wouldn't have to fight back, because it's the farmers that seem to have to do that. Anyway, we'll have a quick look. Enough of that, let's have a look. Again, it's very windy out here. So we're on the common, here we are. I'm just clearing this now, look. We can see all the scruffy scrub that's got to be cleared. It'll start rotting down and forming mulch. We're just going to go, I'm just going to walk across the field here. It's already raining. I think my son's coach should be by in a minute. He's due by in a minute. If you see a yellow coach go by. But here's the brown bale stopping anyone getting in here. Oh, there's a couple of pheasants. Oh, you see that? See what I mean about sharing the land? Anyway. Oh my goodness me. Right. I haven't got long, I've got to get back, but I'm just going to go out. I think the floods are in the next field. We'll have a look when we get there. Pretty wet. As you can see, it's pretty wet out here. Blimey! It's horrible. Oh look, the floods are just, I don't know how much you can hear in this, I'm going to shout. The floods are just coming up now. You can just see behind me the hedge that I trimmed the other day. I've had to stop on that, but look at this. So you can see why I stopped hedge trimming out here, because I'm getting wet on my lens. It's it's still wet on this bit. It's gonna get worse yet as well, because it takes a while for the water to filter down through the river and stuff, or the stream through the farm onto here. You can see I've still got some to do here. Sorry about my camera lens, it's all rather dirty. Right, I've got this far, I've done this bit, but if I drive out into this field now, I'm just going to make a mess. Look, I left wheel marks the other day. So, oh, I'm going to get back in that cab. Let's get back in the dry and I'll have another chat. Oh, there we go. I'm back inside. God, that was blustery out there. I'll have to listen back to this when I edit it. Flipping out, I bet that's blowy. Storm whatever, I don't lose track of the storms, don't you? Well, we've had some of that's full spring. We had that about a week ago and it was really nice and mild and warm, and now we've gone back into sort of winterland, haven't we? Hopefully we'll rock on to a summer that's good. We've got plenty of silage in the clamp and we've got plenty of straw and hay, so I'm feeling good at the moment. Anyway, let's get some positivity going in the dairy industry. I'm a bit bored of all the negativity now. I think everyone else is with all the vegan stuff. I've noticed a lot of people are just like, yawn, let's just move on. But yeah, negativity, but animal welfare, that's important, isn't it? Right, okay. Anyway, to all you small dairy farmers out there, good on you. Stick at it. Crack on.